Hello again. Hello again. And we're back. We are going to be getting right into it because I am short on time. I got to get to the gym and get those gains. So let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about the Mets, maybe a little bit of free agency, MLB, and the possible signings of Bryce and Manny. So let's just talk about the Mets. So getting right into it, as many of you probably already know, I'm one of the biggest Mets fans in the world. Uh, I go to too many games a year. I give them too much of my money and time, but I love them to death. And they always disappoint me, but that's life. Um, the Mets have had one of the best off seasons they've had in a while. We traded for Cano. We got Edwin Diaz. Um, we are Brody Van Wagenen re-signed Familia. We also got Justin Wilson. Just to name a few. We also got Jed Lowry. Yeah. Um, he's going to be one of the best utility players that the Mets have had in quite some time. Right now, I like the direction that new general manager Brody Van Wagenen is going in. I have total faith in him, and it seems like the players have total faith in him. Like Syndergaard said the other day that he agrees with Brody when Brody said that the Mets are the team to beat in the NL East. I feel like that's true for now, unless Harper possibly signs with the Phillies, which I'm praying to God he stays out of the NL East or maybe the National League in general. Um, the as of right now, I really love the way that our lineup could possibly be figured into. I'd say it'd probably be Nimmo and Wright to lead off. This is my perspective, so which I think obviously they're probably not going to go the same route as what I think as the fan because I think that I know everything when it comes to the Mets, but this is the lineup that I think they should do. Um, so as I said, Nimmo leading off, and right field. Uh, I think Cano should bat second because you're supposed to have your like the Angels do with Mike Trout. They have him batting second, and that's like a new philosophy because like your best hitter in the lineup should get the most at bats. So with him batting second, he'll have less RBI opportunities, but he'll also be able to get on base a lot more for people like Conforto, which is next in my lineup, which he should bat third. Um, and then fourth should probably be Wilson Ramos. Oh, I forgot to mention him. He was one of the key free agents that Brody signed this offseason, which I'm a big fan of. The Mets have not had a great offensive catcher in quite some time. Darno still needs to develop. / he is one of the most injury prone players in the world. It seems like he's always on the disabled list. Then yet it always seems like the entire Mets roster is on the disabled list at times. So Darno fits right into the Mets list of injuries over the years. So Darno will be a nice little backup catcher because Ramos is also injury prone, but not quite as much as Darno. Uh, so so Ramos is fourth. Fifth, I'm gonna have to go with probably Jed Lowry. I like a contact hitter in my 5 hole because when the cleanup hitter fails to drive in the runs, you always have that 2 outs with runners in scoring position are key to winning baseball games. So I feel as though Lowry should be that guy because he's one of the best contact hitters on the team and had a breakout year last year. So hopefully he continues that with the Mets. But usually when people sign with the Mets, they tend to not be the same player. Jason Bay is the reason why I have trust issues. So Lowry is fifth. Sixth, I would have to say that it is either Ahmed Rosario. Yeah, I'll put Rosario in the 6 hole. And then Todd Frazier would be 7th. And I put Lagares 8. And then pitcher 9. Actually, today there was news that the commissioner, Rob Manfred, wanted thinks that there should be a universal DH in the NL. I totally disagree with that. I feel like the fun and joy of the National League is like we have our own little thing with the pitcher batting. It um it's exciting when a pitcher gets a hit. Like for instance, look at Bartolo Colon. That was literally one of the best moments of me watching a Mets game when he hit a home run last year in San Diego. The odds of that happening was probably like 0.000000001%, and it just happened. And that I remember watching it half asleep on my couch because they were in San Diego, so it was 10 o'clock uh, Eastern time, and I just hear the crack of the bat. Bartolo with his funny swing goes deep to left field. Gary Cohen, the Mets commentator, just wakes me up, and it's out of here. I'm just started crying, laughing. It's one of the best moments in all of baseball, honestly, in my opinion. So they should definitely not get rid of the DH in the National League. Plus, not to brag, but the Mets have some of the best hitting pitchers when it comes to that. So I don't think they would be very happy about it, like Syndergaard and DeGrom. Um, yeah, the DH should stay in the American League. Even that now that the Mets have like somewhat of a stacked bench and they could probably use some of those people in the DH role, we could stick to that when we make the World Series. How about that? So we'll going into like deeper in MLB. So the Mets, I feel like they always let me down every year, but I'm gonna stay positive and say that we win the World Series this year. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not 2015, we weren't even supposed to be top two in the National League East and made it to the World Series. Should have probably won that World Series, but our bullpen made our leads disappear in the eighth or ninth inning. The Mets literally had a lead in every single one of those games in the World Series, and they just collapsed. Their some of their offense was non-existent, such as Cespedes, and then Murphy had that amazing playoff run until the World Series hit, where he just like disappeared, and then he had that big defensive error in Game 5, which ultimately made them lose. But we're talking about better times, so the Mets are always like put down and never like talked about, but I feel like we have a great shot at winning it all this year, especially if we get a key like uh trade at the trade deadline. If hopefully when we're competing and all our players are healthy, we have a very formidable lineup and probably, in my opinion, the best starting pitching rotation in the league. Hopefully they signed Gio Gonzalez. He has, I believe, a career like .89 ERA in Citi Field when he was playing on the Nationals. So if he could dominate in Citi Field, he could complete the rotation and get Jason Vargas out of this rotation, which he does not belong in the elites of DeGrom, Syndergaard, Matz, and Wheeler. If all four of those guys are healthy and pitching at not even at their max potential, opponents are going to have such tough time scoring runs on us, along with our very strong and improved bullpen with Diaz and Familia anchoring that at the end. Yeah, and that's another thing. Now Familia, now that he's back, he doesn't have to crash hard in the ninth inning. We have Diaz to back him up, and Diaz was definitely the best closer in baseball last year. You can look up the stats. He had the most saves, so I assume that makes him the best closer in baseball. So if everything falls together, some guys have like good years, like Frazier have like a better year this year. He had probably his worst year of his career last year, so can't get any worse than that, right? Yeah. Saying that as a Mets fan, anything can be worse. As I would know. I've been suffering for 22 years. It's about time we bring a World Series to Queens. I believe in this team so much. Just it looks good on paper. There just can't be any injuries or limited injuries. Otherwise, they're one of the best teams every single year. So now we can talk about a little bit about Harper and Machado. What are you guys doing? Spring training starts in like what, 20 days? Not even. You guys still haven't signed yet. They still demanding like $400 million contracts. That's not even the best player in the world is worth $400 million. Like for 10 years too. Like people have learned their lessons with like the Alex Rodriguez contracts. Like Just contracts like that are just never going to be signed. Look at David Wright, for instance. The Mets signed him like it wasn't 400 million. It was like 130, 140. I don't have exact numbers on me right now, but David Wright signed a 10-year contract, and he only played for like 3 of those because he got hurt. People get hurt. Nobody wants to sign a 10-year deal, no matter how good you are. 6 max. Nobody deserves $400 million just for swinging a ball. But I think ultimately where I think Harper, hopefully, as I said, does not sign any NL East team unless it's the Mets, which I highly doubt because I think the Mets are done spending unless they get, like, as I said, a veteran lefty, Gio Gonzalez, who is not going to cost them that much money, especially not $400 million. I say Machado goes to the White Sox, and I think Harper probably maybe the Padres or back to the Nationals or possibly the Phillies, which I really am praying, hope not. But I'm not scared of him. They have the pitching depth to defeat him, so it doesn't really matter to me. But that'll just make our lives a lot easier. But guys, due to time, I'm gonna cut it short here. I'll be back next week. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.